Morning guys, Chris here from Stream Education with the 4 major analysis update for the 26th of January 2011. Okay, I'm just going to look at the 4 majors this morning, starting with the Euro against US dollar on a daily chart. Okay, and you'll notice that we've had considerable upside movement since the bounce that we saw here at 2900. And if I do a projection on this, I did one earlier this week, we found support above the 61.8 and now we're heading towards the 100%. 100% will take us to thereabouts of previous support and resistance. You can see we've had this support resistance area in this area at 13800. So momentum's slightly slowing down, but favoring the open and low. Open this morning, Asian open is and the European session open is taking us higher. So look at possible 13800 as our next target. When you're doing intraday, obviously look for a close higher than the previous high at 13700, 137,020 at least. And we're trading higher at the moment now, so look to see if we can find some support going into the US session this afternoon, and then we can take it further this afternoon. Okay, so the extension still to the upside. The Euro is definitely finding some movement against the US dollar, and CTC is in our favor on a daily time frame. So intraday, look for an opportunity to go long if we can still find support above the 137.20 mark. Okay, and then look at run about the 13800 as a possible stop, because we've had previous support and resistance in this area. Okay, that's it for the Euro. I'm going to be back next with the sterling against US dollar. Okay, the next one we have is the sterling against US dollar. You'll notice we had a huge gap down yesterday, at least 200 basis points, a $2 drop yesterday. This is after finding no support above the 1600 mark, and surely enough we've had 4 consecutive days of head banging at the 1600, and we've had a failure of that. Okay, what it's done now is it's brought us to the 20 period moving average. Bit of a support and resistance area. I'm not too sure the projection wise. We're looking at probably a 32.8 extension, and we're trading indecisive this morning as we speak on this pair. Asian market took it down slightly, but we're trading thereabouts on the previous close. So ideally, if we're going to see further upside movement on this, and then we'd obviously like to see it trading higher than today's high, at the moment at 1583.70. If we can find support above the 20 period moving average, then we might very well see this is just a pullback and then a continuation. But as things stand, this very down day that we had yesterday unsettled the market somewhat, and there could be a hesitation because of that. There even could be some further selling. So if we do get any further selling, then obviously we want to see a close lower than the 20 period moving average. So anything lower than at least 1570. I would say the low of last night's low on the Asian market, so a low of 1577, which would take us below the 20 period moving average, and then we could look at the 50 period moving average at this time frame as a possibility. So 1568.60 is a possible target to the short side. So if we could stay above 20 period moving average and above the 158500 mark, then we could see a possibility of this turning bullish again. CTC is blue on a daily time frame, but just heads up, a lot of selling yesterday, took out a lot of positions. This is relating to the GDP figures yesterday, the prelim GDP figures that came out. Didn't really do the sterling any favors at all against US dollar. So keep that in mind. We might see a bit of hesitation around this area. This comes on a 20 period moving average. So in my eyes, if I'm looking for this to go short again, I like to see it trading lower than the 20 period moving average. So going into the US session this afternoon, seeing it trading lower than the 20 period moving average would give me thoughts to look for shorting opportunities to at least the 50 period moving average in this case. Otherwise, if it stays above 20 period moving average and can close higher than last night's high on the Asian market at 1581.70, then we could see an opportunity to go long. Okay, that's the sterling against US dollar. I'm going to go, next up is going to be the US dollar against the Swiss franc. Okay, we have the US dollar against Swiss franc up in front of us on a daily time frame. A number of students have pointed out that there's no correlation at all on these three pairs. And sure enough, I mean, we have the US dollar against Swiss franc also heading south. So what we say is you got to just trade off the charts, trade what the charts are telling you, and in this case we're looking for a shorting opportunity. Everything's below the moving averages. The CTC is telling us we should be looking for a short. So as it stands now, our next target would be the lows, just above the 9.330 mark. Hesitation this morning. You'll notice that the open of this morning on the Asian market has seen, and the European session has seen, this climb higher after 3 consecutive days of downside movement. CTC is giving us the all clear to look for shorting opportunities. So what we need to do is obviously see the pair for further opportunities to short. We want to obviously see it trading lower than yesterday's low. So anything below 940 would be a welcome sight. Okay, so we're not going to touch this for a shorting opportunity until such time as it's broken below yesterday's low and closed lower, and then we could look at this area here as our first target. Okay. Otherwise, the other opportunity is to look intraday to see if we can see the pair closing higher than today's high, or the Asian market high. So looking at 945 at least, and then we could look at an opportunity to go, and this previous swing over here would be our target. Okay, so if we're going to just extend those, so opportunity pullback, look at 0.9550 for an opportunity to go long if it does find some support at this area, and we could see it bounce to the upside. However, 20 period moving average is still in play, and it'll take us to that area once the if the opportunity arises for us to go long. However, if the US session opens and we see some news and we see it further fall lower, then we need obviously seeing close lower than yesterday's low to give us an indication that we could see further downside movement to at least 0.935. Okay, that's it on the US dollar Swiss franc. I'll be back next with the last pair is the US dollar Japanese yen. Okay, here's the last pair of the day, the US dollar against the Japanese yen, and you'll notice that we're also seeing the US dollar falling against the yen pair, and it's taken us now to the previous swing here. You can see, so if I can just draw a straight line, it'd be great. There we go. Okay, around about the 8200 mark. So you can see the swings are still lower than the previous ones, so we're still looking at lower or downside movement in this case. This swing over here is higher than that, so we're looking at a squeeze to that side. And if you wanted to, if you're trading the shorter ones, you could use that to that, and now we've seen a break of that momentum. So you can see we've now had a break of this, so it's cancelled out that, and ideally what we want to do to see further downside movement to at least 8150 as a possibility, then we need to see a close lower than this previous swing here. Okay, so close lower than 8200 would give us confirmation that we could see further downside movement. CTC is red above the board and below, so it's confirming that we should be looking for shorting opportunities. It is below all the moving averages, so to get a confirmation of that, then obviously we need for the price to be closing lower than this previous swing. Otherwise what we could do is we could have a bounce, and then we could be faked in and for it to go up again. Okay, same over here. For example, you'll notice that if I'd taken those over there as my initial swing movement, then I wanted to see a close lower than that. Ideally that to see that as a first target. Okay, and we saw a break of that. Great. Test and a break lower for it to go lower. See that? So I'm doing exactly the same over here. For example, it's now broken this, which is the same as that. I needed to break that swing there, which is that swing in that case, for it to go lower In this case, it would be here around about the 81.50. So that's all I'm looking for at the moment now for the pair, is for it to close lower than this to see if it's an opportunity to go shorter. Okay, that's it for today. So I'm doing it very quickly, guys. Broadband hasn't been all that great this week, so I've had to cut it short. Please bear with us. We've got another couple of days, and then we'll be back to training again next week. Looking forward to seeing you guys. All the best. Take care.